This was an exciting week of fantasy football. Playoffs were on the line, at least for me. I had a losing record in every single league, and I was one loss away from elimination with every single team. And well, some of my teams won. 2 out of 3 teams won. And one of them, though, it was really close. Oh my god. I was like this close to losing. They had the Steelers on Monday night, and I thought for sure that they were gonna beat me. But at the end of the game, I was winning. But then Kansas City just suddenly goes and hits a field goal, and they're going into overtime. I'm like, fuck, I'm gonna lose. And then Lauren Timmons picks it off, and I'm like, fuck. Thank God for the offensive lineman pushing him out of bounds, because I barely won that game by .06 points. It was exciting. It was an exciting week. And I got so many things right. I got so many things wrong. So many players performed above and under their expectations, and I just can't really go over them all. So we're mostly just going to look at injuries. Michael Vick, Cutler, and Alex Smith all suffered concussions, which could end up being long-term. Fred Jackson left the game with a head injury, though they were not saying concussion. And Eric Wright injured his ankle, and in the same game, Quincy Black was taken to the hospital for observation after being taken off the field on a stretcher with a neck injury. For the Lions, Cliff Avril suffered a concussion, and Chris Houston injured his ankle and had to be carted off the field. Elvis Dumervil hurt his shoulder. Chicago Bears defensive end Shea McClellin suffered a concussion. Adam, formerly known as Pacman Jones, left with a calf injury. Logan, Mankins, and Connolly both left the game with an ankle and back injury, respectively. That definitely did not make Tom Brady happy. Jason Avant left with a hamstring injury, and on Monday night, Big Ben left the game with an injury to his throwing shoulder. A few good things happened this week. I didn't have the balls to say so in the last video, but Sidney Rice has been playing well lately and has managed to find the end zone, including twice last week. I picked him up in free agency Sunday morning and threw him into my starting lineup. I was that desperate, and it paid off big in what was a must-win game for me. Megatron looks like he might be back to his old self. Adrian Peterson continues his comeback season with another huge day, and Tony Gonzalez makes history with his 100th career touchdown reception. And I also just wanted to point out that I picked up Andy Dalton to replace Aaron Rodgers in the lineup this week because it was a bye weekend. That turned out pretty well for me. And Torrey Smith, one thing that did not turn out well for me is that I dropped Torrey Smith in one of my leagues, and the other one he stayed on the bench. He had a huge game today with 2 catches for 67 yards and 2 touchdowns, but in my opinion, he's not worth keeping, and because I considered him a must-start at the beginning of the season. He's been fairly inconsistent, other than today and those 2 weeks against New England and the other team. And the week after, those 2 games immediately following his brother's death. He honestly has been performing very poorly, and he's gotten like 2 to 4 catches a game. And this week he did good because they were long passes and he found his way into the end zone. But he's had too many bad performances, and I consider him a very iffy play. And Joe Flacco, though, surprisingly, he was the top point earner this week. But then again, he was playing the Raiders. And that's it for this week. Keep an eye out for Week 11. The Vikings, Giants, Seahawks, and Titans are all on bye weeks. So I'm guessing most people are going to be looking for new running backs. This has been the Fans Perspective. I am Nathan Lau. Tune in next Sunday for Fantasy Football Week 11. Until then, I hope you have a much better Tuesday than I'm having.